Entitled mom demanded I give her my late brother's service dog. My brother passed away 6 months ago. He was a veteran, and his service dog, Max, was trained for PTSD, mobility support, and seizures. Max is 6, incredibly well-behaved, and still grieving. Since my brother passed, I've been caring for Max. I'm his legal successor according to my brother's will. Max is family now. Enter my cousin, 34 Meal, who I haven't spoken to in over a year. She messaged me out of nowhere, saying, "I heard you have a service dog. You don't need that. My son has anxiety and could use a therapy dog." I explained that Max isn't just a therapy dog. He's a trained service animal with years of specialized work, and legally, I'm his handler now. She replied, "So you're choosing a dog over a child's mental health?" Then she offered me $300 for him. $300 for a trained service dog who costs 20 KPS dollars to train and has been through hell and back with my brother. I said no. She showed up at my door the next day with her son. I didn't answer. She called me cruel, said I was wasting Max's potential. I told her the only waste here was her audacity. Entitled stepmother asked me to calm down my wheelchair at her wedding. I was 25-year-old female, have relied on a wheelchair since I was 18 because of a spinal injury. It's a shiny, metallic purple, my preferred color, and it makes me feel a bit more like myself. My father just got married again, and his new spouse, Emma, is quite unique. A couple of weeks prior to the wedding, she reached out to me and mentioned, "Hi, could you possibly arrange to rent a black wheelchair for the ceremony, or at least one that's not so showy?" I inquired as to the reason. She mentioned, "You'll appear in many of the photos, and I don't want it to become a distraction." I told her directly, I won't tone myself down for her style. She ran to my dad in tears. He supported me, stating I could attend in any way I liked or not attend at all. Throughout the wedding, she shot me side-eye, but I strolled in, dressed in bright purple, and received compliments from other attendees on how fantastic it appeared. Now that she's married, she hardly speaks to me. It's not like I'm voicing any grievances. Wanted her $150 gift card replaced cause she lost it. I work at a slightly nice boutique-style hotel in the Catskills area. We have a pool, and we allow locals to buy day passes to said pool. I get a call from an elder lady who asked me to set up and send a $150 gift card to her granddaughter who lives 5 minutes down the road. How sweet. So I set it up and mail it right. About a month or so later, the mom of the granddaughter calls the hotel. She tells me that she received the envelope but never opened, and she's lost it. She asks me if there's anything I can do, so I grab my manager. He gets on the phone with her and he tells her that he is sorry that she misplaced it, but he can't just reissue a $150 gift card. At this point, she's practically hysterical, saying things like he's ruined her entire summer and yelling and just being very nasty as I can hear him being sympathetic. But the hotel can't just replace $150 because she's lost it. Finally, she hangs up. A few minutes later, the grandma calls. My manager answers the phone, and he gets an earful from this woman, and he tries to explain to her that there are consequences for your actions, and the hotel can't just replace something that is no fault of the company. I wasn't here for this part, but apparently the next day, the woman came in and slapped the gift card on the counter and claimed that she had just found it. Entitled dad tried to force my brother to give up his Make-A-Wish spot. My little brother, 15-year male, has a terminal illness. He was recently granted a Make-A-Wish trip. He chose to meet a famous animator and tour their studio. An entitled dad from our community group caught wind and came over just to talk. He said his own son, 14-year male, who has severe social anxiety, deserves a wish too, and that my brother should pick something easier to share, like a Disney trip. I was stunned. I explained this was his dream and his time is limited. The dad said, "But your brother's barely out of bed most days. My kid could actually enjoy it." I told him to leave and never speak to my family again. He called my mom a week later and said, "Your son has the power to make another child happy. Selfishness isn't a good legacy." My mom blocked him. My brother had the time of his life last weekend, and the animator even made a mini character of him. Screw that guy. Entitled dad scooped food on people's plates after they said no. Last week, my entitled parents and siblings and I went to a family dinner hosted by our neighbors that we know from church. There were about 15 people total, 2 families along with ours. The dinner consisted of several large buffet-style dishes. There was a huge veggie casserole, a salad, and a simple Chinese noodle dish with a savory meat and veggie sauce. People each served themselves with what they wanted from the center of the table. Everyone took some casserole and noodle and ladled the portion of sauce they wanted on top of their noodles. During the dinner, everyone was eating and talking, and suddenly my dad decided he would serve people for no reason. He grabbed the sauce dish, took the ladle out, and started suddenly scooping huge servings of the meat sauce onto people's half-eaten plates with no warning. He literally went around the table, dumping shovelfuls of meat sauce on people's food that they were in the middle of eating, like directly onto their salad and noodles as if they were trash cans. Everyone reacted and was like, wet got gored. Some people said no thank you politely, and some said WTF no, or even yelled at him to stop, but he kept going. He kept shoveling the meat sauce on literally everyone's plate, despite their weirded out reactions and disgust, acting like he was giving them a generous gift. He was not even the one that had prepared it. I think everyone was too nice to say anything, but my dad kept smiling and grinning as if he was some kind of savior. Some people literally stopped eating because they were so disgusted by their now soggy and mushy plates. Does anyone else's parents do anything like this? It seemed either like a weird power play or simply just socially inappropriate behavior by someone with very poor manners, or both. Horrendous parents refused to return items her child stole. This happened February 2025. I had just finished up my shopping and was loading my items into my bicycle when I noticed that a bag of crisps and a bag of sweets were gone. In the corner of my eye, I see the little shit of a child, who also accused me of committing arson on a construction site, stuff the items into his backpack. I followed his dumbass to his house where I confronted the kid and his parents. I politely asked for my items back, but they refused. The parents defended their child by saying, quote, "He's such a good boy, he would never do that." When I asked if I could see what was in his bag, they told me they'd call the police and I would be arrested for harassment. This whole conversation up this point has lasted about 5 minutes. They eventually did call the cops, which after hearing my story, checked the boy's bag, and what do you know? My items. The boy still annoys me to this day, such a little shit. Controlling mom texts me every day. I've lived abroad for a year now, 25-year-old female, and stopped sharing my location with my mom this winter. I went out during a snowstorm, I had an appointment and couldn't cancel it, and my mom was aware because she would track me on the map. Long story short, my car got stuck in the snow and I had a panic attack. The real one where you think you're going to die, because my mom wouldn't stop calling and messaging me even after I told her to stop. She also called my boyfriend who was away and stressed him out. This small event kind of traumatized me because I realized I wouldn't have been that panicked on my own and that my mom was the source of my anxiety. Since I stopped sharing my location, she texts me every day to see I'm alive, and if I take 24 hours or plus to respond, she double texts and guilt trips me. Yesterday, she called me at 2 a.m. because I took 24 hours to answer, then proceeded to playing the victim because I was pointing out she was acting weird. I'm afraid and don't want my issues with my mom affecting my relationship. I tried to set boundaries, but she won't listen. I realized that moving far away wasn't the answer.